Y'all watching this, obviously, especially watching on Twitter and Twitch, go ahead, also subscribe to the YouTube channel. So definitely tell us, share one of our videos that has some great baseball stuff in the Twitter. Baseball from the channel, how to do it. So thank you very much for joining us here. Today's Ravens Sports the Philly deal with Fanatic. Roll that out here June 1st. Links to all Ravori Sports. So what does that mean? My stuff is Ravori Sports. Right on the Fanatic website. So you're not just limited to just the stuff that's on the site or ravorisports.company.site. It's there. On there. Also stuff on there and also great check that out. Definitely if you want everybody definitely a great time. Time to talk to so which one you protect yourself, please do. So great way to do that. Save money. I do this all the time. No, I do it all the time. Call, this time, that time, paying for it. Great help. Definitely check that out. Also, there's Facebook.com. So if you know you live in the city, help you know wedding officials, work for real estate work. A lot of these places. Those services like this. Busy running my business and so on. Always dedicated to all the call up. All right. So thank you very much. So this title might be a little different today, right? So you're saying the Baltimore Ravens All-Time. Baltimore Ravens All-Time 53. So we're going to go ahead and talk about, now that we're a little bit deeper here in politics, finish with the draft, finish with free agency for the most part, Ravens did not have so finish with all that stuff, a lot of stuff now going into next season. But sometimes here we are in May, June, we're talking about football. I'd like to go ahead and talk about some of the great things. So sometimes we do that here. And so Ultimate 53 is one of what this isn't typically the best rating of all time, but on the 53, this is the 53-man squad. All the great races of the All-Time. Okay? So let's say I wouldn't have, like, this is my head, for example, or Trent Dilfer was on this team. You can argue whether you want to spend that break or all time. But I'm taking the roster of the best Ravens of all time. Ultimate, you gotta do. Love the Ultimate Warrior. Alright, so Ultimate 53 for the roster of the best Ravens of all time. That is not the 52 best Ravens of all time. But we want position by position on the Ravens if they were to play this. So the greatest squad if I was to go here. So, Ultimate! Alright, so, Ultimate 50, who's starting to put it? Obviously, I think some people, I think they usually have an argument that it's Joe Flacco, but Joe Flacco is better, but Joe Flacco is not well, many receivers, and they're like, but Joe Flacco wasn't necessarily going to the Hall of Fame. They've had one quarterback that he's going to the Hall of Fame, like the greatest running quarterback in the league as well. Maybe the greatest two-way player. So, despite the playoffs, the lack of playoffs, so regardless, number one, Joe Flacco. So take it. Running back. Okay, so I'm still going to put in but don't have a career. Jamal Lewis, number one, best running back of all time. The Ravens, I definitely great guys, Madison Chandler. Said that got to put in there. Second best. Great guys, even though it's only one season, there's some things was the best season I think we saw. Derrick Henry, probably one of the Hall of Fame. I think also been sticking it up a lot. Around the corner, that fullback. Tough choice. At the car, etc. But I'm sticking with the top side. That is the fullback also. Sorry about that. Now you can hear me. He's a good fullback, and also to he can run the ball. So I think he was, out of all the choices, the best running fullback of all time that the Ravens had. So definitely you have McClain there. Wide receiver. Don't have a lot of great receivers, obviously, in the Ravens history. So we have some good receivers, but number one starting is Derek Mason. I think he was probably the most successful, had a great Ravens career. Another one, like Derrick Henry, former with the Titans, maybe you think of a Titan, but I still think
D-Mace, I think you got to put him as the best receiver there. He's starting with Anquan Bolden. They started together. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Oh, boy, Steve Smith. Yeah, man. Steve Smith's having some problems here with women and all that, et cetera. But that doesn't take away from his Hall of Fame career. Steve Smith, I think, is the best wide receiver. I think third receiver, I think he's a guy you can put him in the slot. You can put him anywhere. You can put him outside. Quadri Ismail deserves a spot. I think, like you talk about, as far as the length of a Ravens career, probably the best one on the list you think about is just a Raven. Quadri Ismail, success around the 2000s when the Ravens won the Super Bowl. So definitely you got to think about Quadri Ismail. Torrey Smith, I thought it was a mistake when they let Torrey Smith go. I'm still putting him there. Zay Flowers may get much higher on this list, but not quite there yet. I got to put him at 6, Zay Flowers, but he makes the team. This is the guy that's going to take the top off the defense, Zay Flowers. So those are 6. I would roster those 6. If I'm taking 6 Ravens receivers all time, I would take these. Pretty easy for the most part here at tight end. 3 you can argue is Shannon Sharpe. That was debatable whether it's Shannon Sharpe or Dennis Pitta. I kind of gave a nod to Pitta because of his long career with the Ravens. I think he's more of a career Raven, where Shannon Sharpe is successful as he was. He's kind of thought of as a Bronco. So that factors into the list as well. Who's a Raven more through and through at times? In that case, when it's close like that, Shannon Sharpe clearly had a better NFL career, but Pitta as a Raven, I take him third. I'm Mark Andrews over Todd Heap. Heap, I think these are the 2 most successful tight ends, no question about it. Heap not as successful. Heap actually took his team, was on the team when they actually won Super Bowl. So I think Heap, long career. Andrews, I think no question about it. I think these are the 2 greatest tight ends in Ravens history, no question about it as well. Offensive line. So number 1, I think the left tackle, I think there's no question about it. Jonathan Ogden, I think, is probably the greatest. You could argue he's the greatest left tackle at any position in our greatest offensive lineman in the history of the league. I think he was outstanding throughout the whole course of his career. Ben Grubbs, I'm putting him in at left guard. I think that's pretty good. I mean, we haven't had great guards, but I think you got to put him. I'm gonna put him on the left side, even though I know he played a little bit of right side. Mike Flynn. I definitely think I'd take Mike Flynn, probably the most successful of the long-term guys. They're tempting to maybe take a Matt Burke or whatever. But again, in this case, I kind of took a guy who was a Raven for a longer time. Burke's not. I don't know if he's ahead of Flynn, but I'll take Flynn there. Marshall Yanda, I think probably the greatest right guard, definitely in the history of the Ravens. I don't think there's any question about it. Yanda, I think definitely is going to the Hall of Fame. You put Grubbs and Yanda, I take them against anybody. Ronnie Stanley, number 5, definitely he kind of reclaimed himself last year. So Ronnie Stanley was really, really good last year. I think it's a shame that we didn't get more healthy Ronnie Stanley like we have a lot of our career. Orlando Brown Sr., I'm going to take him as well. Orlando Brown Sr. was just a dirty dog. He would fight all the time. Low round pick. How'd he get himself noticed was just a fight, right? He figured he just didn't have a chance to make the team. He would just go ahead and fight all the time. So that's what he went ahead and did. Matt Burke is on here. He's not going to start over Flynn. We mentioned Matt Burke. That's second. Kenichi Osemele, I think, is with the 8 as well. Defensive line. Michael McCrary. Michael McCrary is at a defensive end. Trevor Price is on the other side as well. Defensive tackle, Rob Burnett. So he's definitely on the line. So the 3 ends, you want to take Michael McCrary, Trevor Price, Rob Burnett. You definitely want to put them at ends. Assuming you're going to run a 3-4, I think, in general. I think that's what they've run most of the years. I understand doing the Super Bowl run. 3-4, I think this is probably you have a better group of linebackers. So I'm going to take that. So McCrary, you put him at one end. McCrary, you put him at run end. Trevor Price, I put him at the other end, and Burnett, I'd have him back up. Burnett was a very underrated sack guy for the Ravens for many years. Haloti Ngata, I think it's only a matter of time also too before he gets in the Hall of Fame, one of the great defensive players of all time. Sam Adams and Tony Siragusa together. Rest in peace, the late Tony Siragusa. So I definitely put them on the line. You're not going to be able to run the football. Haloti Ngata, Sam Adams, Tony Siragusa, no such thing as running the football on this defense. Definitely would put them as one of the great offensive linemen there as well. Linebackers, I take 8. Sizzle, number 1. I don't think there's any question about it. Sizzle, I think, only a matter of time before he's in the Hall. I'm surprised he didn't already get in on his first try. I think he's greatest pass rush in the history of the Ravens. Ray Lewis, no surprise, inside linebacker. Ray Lewis, I think, is the greatest. The only question is Ray Lewis the greatest football player that ever played on defense? Definitely the greatest inside linebacker. Roquan next to him. Roquan's really good. Roquan, I think, is probably the guy. Had it not been for Ray Lewis, I think we'd be talking about him as the greatest the greatest inside linebacker of all time. When you talk about Roquan Smith, Peter Boulware is one of my favorites. Injury probably cut short his great career that he would have had. Still had a great career, but definitely adding. I remember when he added Peter Boulware, it added so much to the defense. Like when they were a new franchise, even I think it was last year, but having Suggs and Boulware, it would be something else. Jamie Sharper, you could put him in inside linebacker, probably played that outside in the 4-3. You probably put him inside along with Adalys Thomas. You could put him on the edge. Adalys played everywhere. Adalys Thomas, you could back him up on the edge. Bart Scott, I thought I'm going to place him there. Bart, I think, was pretty good. I think Bart, good, solid career there. And C.J. Mosley, the guy that actually they drafted, I think, after Bart Scott as well. I'm taking those 8 as well. So those are my linebacking group for the Ultimate 53. Cornerback. Definitely got to take Chris McAllister. I think Chris McAllister is still the best cornerback in the history of the Ravens. I definitely would take him. Jimmy Smith, I would take him there on the other side. Jimmy Smith, I thought, kind of like Ronnie Stanley in the sense. He was really good, but he had so many injuries. I think that's the only reason why he wasn't great or more of a higher receiver. But I think Jimmy Smith, I think is a wonderful cornerback. Really like watching him too. Really tough. Ladarius, I would definitely put in the slot. I think he might be the greatest slot corner the Ravens have ever had. Ladarius was very underrated too. Ladarius, he had a couple years where he was really a top shelf corner in the league, underrated. Top 5 for sure. Very underrated. LaMarlon Humphrey's there. Some people are going to argue with Marlon having him a little higher. That's fine. Those first 4, you can put them in any order, any spot. If you want to put McAllister, Humphrey, Webb, that's what I would do. But I got no problem. Dwayne Starks at 5. I think he was a partner for Chris McAllister. I think he'd fit in on any defense as well. I think him and Torrey Smith, had they stayed Ravens, I got to tell you, they would have been fantastic. All right. Ed Reed at safety. So definitely he's the leader of your back end along with Rod Woodson. So Reed, you could probably put at strong safety in this situation. You could put Rod Woodson and free. Rod was such a good tackler. You could put him anywhere. Reed, I think, is the greatest ball hawk, I think, in the history of the NFL. Not only was he fast, great instincts, everything as far as the league goes. Woodson, I think, was one of the greatest corners of all time. But with us, he was a safety. So he was a good safety, outstanding player for us. Eric Weddle, I think, probably was the guy after Reed as well. Reed, Weddle, I think, is one of the better safeties in the history of the NFL. I think he's very underrated. So many good years with the Chargers, solid career with us with the Ravens. He was a leader right away. So he's definitely a guy that can play. Kyle Hamilton, I think, short tenure, but there's no question about Kyle Hamilton. I think I'm going to take him all day and twice on Sunday because he is outstanding in several areas at the line of scrimmage. Catching the ball. Versatility, I think, is key. You can put him anywhere on the line. Chuck Clark, I think this is the thumper, the hitter as well. You may see Chuck Clark again here with the being a free agent as well. Last spot here, special teams. So we got 6 guys here for special teams. I'm going to take, obviously, the GOAT, Justin Tucker, as my kicker. Maybe there wasn't such a thing as a better NFL career as Justin Tucker had. Sam Cook, for so many years, not going to be with the team this year because no longer working with the squad, I don't think, as a coach anymore. Shout out to the late Jacoby Jones, rest in peace. I think he's the greatest kick returner. I think it's tough for me to go against Jermaine, but you talk about kick returner, I got to go with Jacoby Jones over Jermaine. I definitely want Jermaine as the punt returner, return punt in the Super Bowl. Great Turk, great Raven as well. Snapping the ball is Morgan Cox. Of the whole Wolf Pack is there. Sam Coke, Morgan Cox, and Morgan Cox, and Justin Tucker. And here's a name you don't know. Now, Benny Thompson, I think, was one of the greatest. Like, some of you younger guys out there don't know the special teams guys, like a Bill Bates, like a Steve Tasker, like this. When we started the franchise, he was a great special teams guy with the Browns, and he became with us with the Ravens. Any team with Benny Thompson would work. You had to double team him on special teams. A great team career on special teams. There you go. The 53. So there you go. So those are the ultimate 53. So if I'm going to roster a Ravens team for all time, there you go. Those are the guys that I'm on my team, all 53. The Ravens with the ultimate 53 there as well. So that's our football discussion there this week, definitely. So definitely shout out to a lot of those guys there as well. Tell me what you think in comments and everything like that. Do you disagree? Would you start Joe Flacco there at quarterback? Would you have somebody else there? So definitely check that out there as well. All right. I don't know what's going on with that. All right. So definitely let's talk a little bit of what we don't do. So we all know as Baltimoreans there that the Preakness was last week. So definitely too, let's go ahead and catch a little bit of that here as well. So on the screen right now, what you're looking at is the Preakness. So the Preakness is a long history in Baltimore. One of the superstar horse races anywhere there as well. So the Preakness will be next year in 20 miles south of Pimlico, 20 miles south of Pimlico in Laurel Park. 2027 Preakness is expected to return to Baltimore as they rebuilt the Preakness race course. So actually very glad to see that they are doing something with that. What is going on? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at a little bit of it. The last quarter poll is what we at the end of the Preakness here. The last one at the old Pimlico here. Journalism was the winner. Let's go ahead and take a little look at it here.
It's getting closer now. He's behind a wall of horses. He's looking for a place to go, and he's got nowhere to go. Oh, he bumped hard with Goal-Oriented. In the meanwhile, Gosker's running the race of his life, and Sandman has entered the scene, and he has moved up on the far outside. Journalism is still running on. He's back into second. He might even win it. There's the wire. Oh, my goodness.
Come from behind there.
Has won the Preakness Stakes in a performance like you read about. Journalism is getting closer now. He's behind a...
All right. So there you go. The Preakness, that was the last show. So journalism was the winner of the Preakness Stakes. So definitely check that out as well. So definitely you got one more here at the Belmont Stakes, but this is the last one they're going to have at the Old Pimlico. I know those of you know that grew up like I did in 1980s, you know, hey, they had half the season in Pimlico, they had half the season in Laurel, they had like 10 days at Timonium. So in next year, Laurel, after all these years, is going to get his first Preakness Stakes. So definitely check that out as well. A lot going on there as well. I don't know why. Pulling up a slide is doing that every time. That's strange. This just happened just before it came on tonight, about 20 minutes. This was confirmed by ESPN. So Jim Irsay, I've been having good fun with Jim Irsay, the owner of the Indianapolis Colts. His dad, John Irsay, was the owner of the old Baltimore Colts, has passed away, it looks like. So this is just breaking in. So a lot of you may be just seeing this for the first time, where boy, I got to tell you, I mean, that last name, a lot of fans in Baltimore, definitely the older generation, like 50 plus, never got around that. What happened with the old Baltimore Colts and leaving town in the middle of the night? They used to show it every year. I think even if you watch the Baltimore 2, 13, 11, 45, those stations, they show it all the time. The Mayflower van leaving out in hours of midnight. So nobody would know they were leaving the old complex, what is now is the Ravens complex, leaving and going to Indianapolis, taking all this stuff. So now that was not him, obviously owning the team at the time. It was his dad, John Irsay. So Jim Irsay inherited the team after he went ahead and went to Minnesota. Minnesota to Indianapolis. So died pretty young here. He was 65 years old as well. So yeah. So I had great fun with Jim Irsay. Honestly, I didn't think he was a great owner. I will say, though, to him, he's one of the few owners in the league that really told it like it is. That I could respect. I didn't think he was right a lot as an owner, but I can respect anybody running their business and front-facing and being honest about how they felt about things. And Irsay a lot of times was, even to his detriment. But our condolences, obviously, Ravori Sports, to the Irsay family and everything as well. So definitely can't go past that. It was a piece of Baltimore history there as well with the Irsay family. So just added that here at the end. Why is doing that every time? All right. NBA playoffs here coming up. We're going to go over that a little bit here as well. Game going on right now in the Eastern Conference. Right now, Pacers ahead of the Knicks. I can almost promise you this is a 7-game series, these two teams. Knicks eliminated Boston. Jason Tatum, this could be a bit of a changing of the guard here in the East. Tatum, that injury Jason Tatum had, I'm not sure they're even going to have him next year. So definitely. But when I say changing the guard, I mean, like, for so many years, the media, the fans, and everything else, you focus so much on Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, even in the Olympics, they kind of commandeered the whole thing. Kevin Durant. Now what we're seeing here, we're seeing new teams here in the finals that haven't been here as championship level teams. The Knicks have probably the best record that's remaining in the East. They're going against the Pacers. Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton are showing everybody that they are not supporting players that they're leading players. These guys are the guys here that are led their teams to the Eastern Conference Finals. This is very, very tough to call as well. It really is two teams very similar. This is going to be physical. Two teams that won about 50 games. I think the Knicks won one more game than the Pacers. Brunson, I think, is going to be you're going to see fights here. Obi Toppin's going to smack somebody. Tyrus Brown, this is going to be a physical. This is going to be everything you expect. This is going to be a 90s flashback. So definitely, I'm going to go and lean towards the Knicks a little bit in this one, simply because they have the home court and the physical nature. These two teams are extremely evenly matched. I don't think you're really splitting hairs to me as far as that goes. I think there's a little more depth in Indiana. So I think that's kind of a thing when you have a Miles Turner, they have Siakam there as well. Have a little more faith in that. I think the Knicks pretty much only have really two and a half scorers. When we talk about Bridges, Brunson, and Towns, 2.5. They have a much shorter bench. I think so. This is going to be physical. Buckle, if the football term will be buckle your chin strap with this one as well. So it'll be interesting to see the Thunder and the Timberwolves. So this is definitely the new guard here. So you got Ant-Man Anthony Edwards for the Minnesota Timberwolves going against the best team, the team with the best record in the entire NBA during the course of the regular season, and that was the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think the Thunder have arrived. I think the Minnesota is really good. Minnesota's better than what you think. I keep hearing that. Minnesota's been really good. I like they haven't been really good. I think like they have a phenomenal volume scorer. They have a good cast around them, Julius Randle, guys like that, etc. So I'm certainly not beefing against the pace of the T-Wolves. The only thing, and I think I've seen this with the T-Wolves a couple times throughout the last couple years, the T-Wolves don't show up every game as good as they are. I think this is why they're the lower seed. The Thunder are pretty much the same every night. Definitely, this is going to be another one here. They're going to talk more for sure about how the other series is physical, and I just did, right, about this one. But these are two really good defensive teams, I think. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, everybody talks about his offense and how good he is on offense. On-ball defender, I love him. I love guys like this. I see a lot of that Gary Payton, Scottie Pippen in him, getting guys' chest. He's not as strong, obviously. He's a smaller guy, less strong. But, man, I think he really got great hands, great instincts. So I definitely think the Thunder had the superior team. Although Timberwolves, if they show up, Edwards has to do more than SGA has to do. So I think that's a thing. I think like SGA doesn't have to score 30 every night. I think whereas Ant-Man Anthony Edwards, he's got to score like 30, 35 every night for them to win. So that's going to matter. That's going to be tough to do against a really good defensive team this game. But this isn't going to be 120, 135, none of that stuff. This is going to be defense in this, going to be a lot of fights in this. I think the biggest Edwards, I think, is the biggest trash talker in the league. And I think the guy who deserves the MVP in the league, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think he's probably should be the MVP. I mean, some people are going to find out this week if it's him or Nikola Jokic pretty soon. But I definitely believe that's the case. So definitely check that out. Conference finals. Now we're here at Memorial Day. Yeah, I didn't even know Memorial Day was Monday. So definitely check that out here as well. I definitely like the Thunder. So I do think it's Knicks Thunder in the finals. Very close. The East series is going 7 games. This one is going about 6. I think this will be a little bit more decisive. So definitely, absolutely check that out. Mavs win the lottery. So last week, the Dallas Mavericks actually go ahead and won the NBA draft lottery. Everybody's going with this conspiracy theory. It was a fix. The fix is in, et cetera, et cetera. It must have been fixed, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't fixed. These guys would be done in a minute in the fix. I would say they got lucky for sure. Because now everybody can stop talking about the horrible trade they made. Now they're getting Cooper Flag on their team. So tremendous luck by the Mavs actually going ahead and getting the number pick. The Wizards had the best odds of not getting it. I think what could be interesting from that, I don't think you get Cooper Flag because I do think Dallas takes him first, unless they trade the pick for whatever reason. Which, if you're trying to lose, maybe you're trading the pick. But if what I think could happen, what I am hoping for, is that Derek Queen actually goes to Terps. I think Derek Queen definitely could be a top 5 option. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually go that route. Ace Bailey is going to be an early draft pick. The 2 Rutgers players, a little bit shorter, apparently. Like he was supposed to be. He was like Rutgers had listed at 6'10", and then when they measured him at the combine, he was like 6'7". 6'8", like strange. So yeah, very interesting there. Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper is going to go early. Derek Queen's going to go early. So interesting to see what happens in the draft. Can't even pull the slides up today. And I have these today here. I don't know why it's doing that today. All right, so let's go ahead. So I know what we're all thinking about here and worried about is with the Baltimore Orioles. So this has been a rough week. I mean, they did win today, and we'll go over that a little bit. But before that, they lost 7 in a row. I did a stream on Saturday where Brandon Hyde was relieved of his duties as manager. And I don't often on this, I get to, when I'm doing my baseball here, I watch a lot of baseball, a lot of stuff all the time. But I don't as much get to editorialize about the Orioles. Like the Orioles report is basically at the end, it's kind of like a way I do similar to what I do with the Ravens games. Although there's one game, so I kind of go into the week and the Orioles report. I kind of summarize the games always in the news and right there at the end. But I don't often get to dive into like what is an editorial of what it is. So we're going to do that a little bit here tonight and find out exactly what's going on, what's wrong with a team that has so many high expectations and the fact that they're really falling short here as well. So let's go. Defense. So we're going to go over 6 things here. There are several things, but I think there are the 6 things here that are, I think, issues with the team, why you're not winning, why you're where you are. 15 wins, I think it's 16 wins and 31 losses, last place, etc. What's going on? Number 1, I think, is something that's talked about not enough in baseball, and that's defense. Defense, 22nd in errors in the 22nd in MLB with 27 errors, 21st in fielding percentage. So you're not getting the job done on defense at all. There look like there are some injuries with that, but like Hester Kerstad just isn't good on defense. Part of the problem with Kobe Mayo up and down, he's not good on defense. Holiday, I think, has gotten better on defense as well. Adley gets grief. I think he's okay. I don't think he's. I think some people think he's a terrible defender. I really don't see evidence of that. We're gonna get to Adley for sure as well. Gunnar, I've never really liked at shortstop. I think I always liked him better at third. I don't think he's as good. So there's a question there. I think also too, Third base has been a revolving door. You've had a lot of guys. You had Urias, you had Rivera, you've had a lot of guys there as well. Mullins is fantastic in center. Right field, you've had a lot of injuries, a lot of revolving door. And so you haven't fielded the ball well. You don't have the continuity. I see a lot of that type of stuff. Missing the cutoff man, a lot of simple mistakes on base, lots of getting errors. So defensively, I think it's errors. We're listing this kind of least to greatest in terms of the problems the Orioles have. Second, timely hitting. I think that's a key. Offensively, you're not as good as a whole. I think so. You look at the stats here, 25th, and this was as of before the game today. I put this here before the game today. So 25th in total hits. This is in the entire MLB. 21st with runners in scoring position. Thought it was worse than that. The game that got Brandon Hyde fired that Friday, they left 15 runners on base. That's insane. Like, you doubled the hit output of the team and you lose because you left all these runners on base. Lots of home runs solo when they're getting home runs. The home run totals I was thinking that was down to not great home run totals, but you're like about top half of the year. I think it's like 10th or something like that in the league. But you're not capitalizing when you need to capitalize. And you're not getting things when you need to get them. So that's an issue. So you're not getting as much hitting. Too many guys, and this is not just the Orioles' problem, but too many guys at 210, 220, 230. Adley, 209, 250, not going to work. So you're not getting the hitting. You're not getting, more importantly, timely hitting. So when you are having offensive output, you're getting it on days where you're getting blasted and all of those stuff. So the timely hitting isn't there as well. Number 3, I never thought I'd be saying this one, but Adley Rutschman development. Now, that was before the game. He actually was good today. He actually hit a 3-run homer today. So those are the stats. So he's actually had 5 home runs now, and I think he's got 11. I think it was a 3-run homer today. But he's still around 215. There's a couple things going on with Adley. I think he and like a lot of the Orioles, they're pressing. They are not Adley was so good for so many when he first came in the league and with a lot of things with batting eye. I was so impressed for a young player how he was very Bonds-like, very Boggs-like with his batting eye, with his patience at the plate and everything like that. He was a guy that definitely had great patience and eye at the plate. Now it looks like he's swinging at a lot of garbage, right? He's swinging at a lot of garbage. His swing looks off. He's got some bad habits, I think, at the plate, and he's pressing. He's definitely feeling the weight of that. So I don't think it's over, but the problem is he is going to have to, whether this is fair or not unfair, they're expecting him to be their aircraft carrier here. Still a term from MLB Network. Their aircraft carrier. He's the guy that needs to be the guy that's going to carry the offense, that's going to carry the load, that's going to do all the great things offensively and carry him, and he's not doing that. So interesting to see what happens with Adley. I think he was good today as well, but there's no turning this around without Adley Rutschman being at around 300, hitting about 25 home runs, doing his thing, getting that average up to, he's got to do that. Defensively, I think he gets more grief than he should. He's a good enough guy. I really look at the defensive metrics. I don't really see a lot of bad stuff. He's not as good throwing guys out as we thought he might be, but that's it. So number 3, I think, is Adley development. He's not number 6. He's not the last one. But Mike Elias is a problem. I think I don't have a lot of little birdies, I guess. But everybody keeps telling me that David Rubenstein really likes Mike Elias whenever I ask the question. And I think that's a little I don't see why he was so much separated from Brandon Hyde. Brandon Hyde was on this list, but Brandon Hyde obviously is not here anymore, so he's gone. Mike Elias, we're talking about him. I have a hard time getting a read on him. He's very corporate, very word salad, doesn't really say a lot. I thought it was, I do agree with those out there that are saying, hey, man, you fired the manager. Where were you for 3 days? Not cool. Uncool. You're the middle manager. Him and Roof Dice should have been out there taking the lead front facing. Jackson Holiday, who's been in the league 5 minutes, is answering questions before you. No. You should have made an announcement publicly. Look, Rockies fired their manager. That's what they did. Bucks fired their manager, and Pirates fired their manager. That's what they did. You fire your manager. You have every right. I mean, you're not winning. I'm not saying that you don't. However, you need to have some respect for the fans and get out there ahead of it. That aside, how was handled all of that aside? The problem with Elias, no pitching. You didn't provide enough pitching. And the other fold is you're holding on to all these prospects without signing them to either A, long-term deals, and B, trading them away and getting the players that you need. Okay? So you're holding on to, like, Heston Kjerstad is a great example. Jim O'Dowd said exactly what I've been saying here for a while on MLB Network the other day. Dude, you're trading these prospects. You're keeping all these prospects, and then you're not playing them. You bring you Heston Kjerstad. You move out Anthony Santander. He's 30+ years old. You don't want to pay him the extension, so you spend all this time. He's a second-round pick, and then you sign Tyler O'Neill to play ahead of him. You're not showing confidence. Jackson Holiday is just now kind of breaking out into his own, where he's getting into the lineup. Is he interfering with the lineup? We're going to find that out here pretty soon once we see these lineups. The lineups kind of look different to me already. I think they've kind of changed the lineup card a bit, but Michael Elias has not provided, I think, enough pitching to go around, and you're not extending the young players that you have, and you're not showing confidence in them, and you're keeping them. So the one trade the Eflin trade for Zach Eflin, that's pretty much how you're supposed to do it. You get good pitcher, you had to give up something. Burns, you got away DL Hall, you had to give up something. Okay. Or play the guys. You can't play everybody. And now you're talking about why your system is diminished. You don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. Well, you haven't really finished developing the guys that you got. Interesting to see. But I think Elias, I do think at the end of the year they're going to move off from him. I don't think he survives the season. I will say this too about Michael Elias before I move on to the next biggest thing. Everybody keeps saying Gunnar Henderson, well, they're not going to do that. They're not going to. Let me tell you something right now. If I'm the Cubs, Dodgers, Mets, whatever team is looking for help at the deadline, I'm asking about Gunnar Henderson. I'm not saying they're going to do that. I don't think so necessarily, but they definitely got to think about that. They definitely got to think about that. And it's definitely going to see, are you going to be rebuilding for real? Are you going to be a quick rebuild? Interesting how they feel about Elias. Everybody keeps saying to me, though, that they really like Elias. Everybody I talk to. So interesting to see. We're going to have some interviews. We're going to have some more people on there, experts on this, on the channel here pretty soon that are going to go over these type of things. Number 5, I think, is injuries. This is definitely out of their control. There's no way they predicted, obviously, all of the injuries that they've had. There's just no way. In baseball, obviously, you do expect some guys to get hurt, some guys to miss time, not play, all that, etc. You don't expect all the names that they've had. I mean, it's just really crazy. All the injuries that the Orioles have had. They got Andrew Kittredge back today, so he's back in there. But Tyler O'Neill's on the IR. Trevor Rogers has been on the IR. Zach Eflin's been on the IR. I'm sorry, Tyler O'Neill, he's had 2 stints on the IL. You're without Colton Cowser. He's starting here back soon. You've been without Colton Cowser most of the season. Brandon Young has been on IL. I'm just reading him down now. Andrew Suarez has been on the IL. It's crazy. Like all these names here, they've been on IL. Gunnar has been on IL. They still don't have Tyler Wells on IL. You may not have him. Bradish, you may get him. Kyle Bradish, you may get at some point. Grayson, Michael I said he may start throwing soon. They just had a ridiculous amount of injuries. So that doesn't matter. As frustrated as we all are with the offense, the pitching, and all that stuff, et cetera, when you have that many injuries, that matters. That's a thing. That's not something that's made up or people are going past or whatever. The injuries are for real. And when you have that much you lost there, I mean, you're losing half your outfield, you're losing 2/3. That's a lot. Your backup catcher, you haven't had Sanchez, a lot. So I think that's factoring in. As much as, we don't like hearing that as fans, that's true. That's not the biggest problem. The obvious, to me, the number one biggest problem is the starting pitching and lack there for real. Look, you gambled. You traded a haul away for Burns. Corbin Burns is an ace. They let him go in the offseason. So you're thinking that you're going to have Grayson. Now you don't have him. And you went ahead and you spent 1-year deal on Charlie Morton, 1-year deal on Sagano. Sagano, I think, is probably in the best pitcher. He's definitely in the rookie league consideration. A complete train wreck for Charlie Morton, although I guess he's been better lately. Kyle Gibson, so you bring him in. He's already been released. Like, the pitching is not working. Not at all. The relief pitching I'm less on because you're chewing up your bullpen, as you used to say, with the starters. 2 games in a row with the Nash, your starter just knocked out in the first. I don't know what that was yesterday where you got Keegan Aiken pitch. It's just a mess. Total mess. And I don't see this part getting better. I see a lot of those other things fixable, manageable, but I don't see how you get much better. The only hope is that you get Grayson and Bradish back at some point. I don't know if you're going to have them at all. Certainly not in the first half here. We're almost in June now. So that's the biggest problem, I think, and going forward. And they did not, throughout the years, I've been talking about this the last couple of years, you didn't fill your team with enough starting pitching. You didn't do that. I didn't even realize that they had – Michael Elias hasn't even had pitchers from his drafting that are major leaguers. Like Grayson was Dan Duquette. No, you don't have pitching. You don't want to spend money on pitching. I understand why you're taking draft picks on outfielders because they hit more, right? But if you do that, then you need to say, hey, we're going to spend resources on pitching. We're going to go out. We're going to get a Blake Snell. We're going to go sign Corbin Burns. We're going to do those things. He's trying to do both. So those are all the issues with the Orioles that they have in terms of the long form. Just keep the faith. Keep the faith with the Orioles report. So this is what happened this week in the report. That was before we're going to do the whole league. And this is kind of what happened this week. Mentioned it, Chase McDermott last Thursday was optioned to AAA Norfolk, even though he came back. Kittredge was sent on a rehab assignment to Norfolk as well. So we're definitely there. So he's on his way back here. So just keep watching. And obviously the big news, we're not going to talk too much about this, but Orioles fired Brandon Hyde on Saturday. I did a whole video on that. Tony Mazzolito, interim manager. He was at third base. He is now taking over as manager of the Orioles, at least in the short term. He's 42 years old. We will see. Never been a major league manager. Been a minor league manager. Been a coach in the majors as well. Hayes spoke of Mike Elias. He said it's been a tremendous accomplishment. He deserves a ton of credit for forever. But we thank him, and we're going to miss him very much. But the Orioles, given the Orioles record this season, there was a decision that had to be made. So Hyde is out. I'm going to say it one more time. I was somewhat surprised. I thought he had some more currency, better relationship with the ownership as well. They certainly haven't been good this year, but it's over. So now we're looking for a new full-time manager. He is the interim manager. Dylan Carlson is recalled. Kyle Stroud and Kerry Stroud was up from Norfolk. That happened this week. Tyler O'Neill back on the DL. Kyle Gibson was designated for assignment on Sunday. Gibson was just terrible on Saturday. He was just creaming. And the no spring training, it didn't work. It just didn't work. He didn't get out of the first inning several times. And I felt bad for Gibson because I know it's very possible it could have worked a little bit out for him had it had that extended spring, but he wasn't able to get it. No choice. We get no choice. No choice but to release Gibby. Masson announced today, and I've been pushing for this for years, that they are going to do Baltimore Orioles Nationals minor league affiliate games on Masson. So I'm for this. I hope we see more of this in the coming years. It's possible they could be losing the Nationals as early as next year, but you're going to be able to. I did look at. You're going to have some. I think next week, you're going to have a chance to watch the Norfolk Tides. You're going to have a chance to watch the Aberdeen Ironbirds once, the Fredericksburg Nationals, the Delmarva Shorebirds. So this is so elementary obvious. Show the guys before they get here. How cool would it have been to have seen Jackson Holliday over and over on the network before he actually makes his major league debut, or watch him in the majors and minors the next day as well. Baseball summer, by the way, is coming up. We're going to talk about the Tides and everything that's going on there, along with all of our minor league teams, Aberdeen, Frederick, Hagerstown, etc. We're going to go over that as well. Shameless plug. Colton Cowser went on a rehab assignment on High Aberdeen Wednesday, according to Matt Reichert of the Baltimore Sun. Cowser's on his way back. I'm thinking it's going to be pretty soon here. So he's already started in Norfolk. He's already started in Aberdeen, rather, and he is going to be back soon here as well. Jordan Westberg sustained a setback from the left hamstring strain. He was placed on the 10-day injured list the 28th. I kind of sensed before that something was wrong with Westy because they were DHing him a lot. So there's no reason to keep DHing him as well as much as they were. So had a bit of a setback. Hopefully as soon as we can to get a good hitter like Westberg back. Interim manager Tony Mazzolino, hopefully I start saying the name right. Ramon Mariano, left ankle injury is very mild and minor at the moment. The outfielder is expected back with action in the next few days. So he's really good. He's been really good this week. I've been really impressed with him. And he went out the game with the injury, minor. We know how many outfielders they have. He's went out. Who's been at the plate? I'm actually going to say Colano Perez. He's been good this week. He's been good lately. So good for him. He's kind of finally starting to turn around. Jackson Holliday, we know. I think he's growing right before us. And Greg Soto, really, bullpen has been really shaky. We even got the Mount struggling here as well. Yadier Cano on the not category. Ramon Urias not playing as much lately, struggling a little bit more. Kerstad not well at all as well. Kerstad's not going to get a lot more rope here. He's at 200. He's not good defensively. We'll see how much more time they give Kerstad to improve. This week, Red Sox have finished the game in Milwaukee, going to play against the Boston Red Sox and also to the St. Louis Cardinals. I think these are two of the best run franchises in all of baseball. The Red Sox, I don't know what's going on exactly with Devers. I don't know why he's upset. I mean, certain guys, the Bregman's playing well. He had to move, but I don't understand that one as well. And Cardinals still has a way to go. Orioles have a much longer way to go than all these teams as well. I'm gonna give it to Liriano. I think I liked his passion this week. He hit the home run in the game last night. He got tossed out of the game earlier in the week, showing his passion on balls and strikes. He's really playing hard. It's a shame that he got hurt as well. So definitely shout out Ramon there. Hopefully he comes back soon. Keep the faith, Oriole fans, Raven fans. Y'all have a great rest of your week.